Hi everybody, this is Peter, Thailand bound. Welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, I talk about all things Thailand, and today I'm going to do something a little bit different. So, you know that if you're a regular to the channel, you know when I read these stories out, a lot of you guys will kind of leave comments say, my God, how could he have fallen for that? These guys are stupid. And it happens quite a lot. You know, we get these kind of car crash stories in and people just can't believe how they can be so gullible. So I often get people writing and say, look, why don't you make a video and just give a few tips about what to do and what not to do in the GoGo bars, the beer bars. And that way, any newbie who is headed out to Thailand, they're not going to fall for these tricks if they've watched the video. So I thought, okay, myself as well, I thought it was common sense, but obviously there are people who fall for these tricks. So I've put together about 20 top tips for you. And if you follow these tips, when you go into any beer bar or GoGo bar, you should do okay. You shouldn't get ripped off or anything like that. All right, so I'll jump straight in, and here's number one of my first tip.
สวัสดีค่ะ
My number one tip for you guys is, if a girl approaches you and she asks, can she sit with you, but you don't really want her to sit with you. So you're sitting in the GoGo bar, you're just watching, you're taking it all in. A nice girl comes on and says hi, introduces herself, says, can I sit with you? Well, it's very embarrassing to say to that girl, no, I don't want you to sit with me. So something that works, guys, believe me, because I'm married and I do it all the time. I go with friends. I don't particularly want to sit with these girls. I'll just say, maybe later, just look in first. And they understand that. That's a polite way. They don't lose face. You're not being rude, and they walk away. So that's my first tip if you don't want to be have a girl join you at your table. Okay, so my second tip is, it's to do with the ladies' drinks. So if you're on holiday and you go into a beer bar and you're playing Connect 4 or you're in a GoGo bar, you might enjoy talking to a girl, you've just met her, you're on your own on holiday, and you might actually want to buy her a drink just to compensate her for her time and her company. And there's nothing wrong with that. Plenty of people do that, and they get a commission on those drinks. You've just got to keep a rein on it. So my tip on this one is, if a girl, some of them are a little bit cunning these days, it's not like the old days, but if a girl says, you know, can I have a drink, then you make it very, very clear it's a drink, as in one drink. Because if she orders, for instance, and this is an example, if she orders a vodka and Black Bull, that's two drinks. The vodka is one drink, the Black Bull is a second drink. So you'll pay maybe 180 baht for your beer, and you're paying 400 baht for her ladies' drinks. And they can drink them very, very fast, guys. So remember that. Make sure she comes back with one glass or one beer bottle or whatever it is. Okay, so my third tip for you is, and this is very common, if you're now sitting with a girl that you like and you're maybe playing Connect 4, something like that, and then another girl will approach your table where you're sitting with this girl, and the girl you've bought the drink with, she will say, oh, this is, for example, this is Knock, my friend. It's her birthday today. Can she have a drink? Well, it's not her birthday. It's a ploy that's used. It works, and that's why they say it. And what will happen is, if you buy her a drink, everybody in that bar will notice, and it will soon, before you know it, it'll become a feeding frenzy. The mamasan will be across. I've even seen DJs come out and try and get drinks bought for them. So, you know, just be very, very polite. And a good one, a good excuse you can give, you can just say, not at the moment, I might be in later. I've got to go and head out to an ATM machine, get some money out. I've got limited funds on me, but I will be back. And that way, again, you know, you save face all round, as it were. Okay. Now, the next one, this is just a recommendation from me. If you're a cheap Charlie or you just really want to hang on to every bar, ignore this. But this is what I would highly recommend. So especially if you go into a bar regular. So if you just go into the bar, it's a one-off, you're never going to go back there again. It doesn't matter. But if you go down to, say, Pattaya, and you go around a few bars, and on your second night, you think, right, I like this bar, that bar, and that bar, and they're the bars I'm going to go into. So when you're in that bar and you've bought your drink and you might be sitting with somebody, the mamasan or the manager might approach you, and eventually they would ask you for a drink, but they do it in a different way, a little bit more subtle, because they've got a lot more experience. And what my advice to you guys is, if a mamasan comes across and you're going to go into that bar regular, before she has time to ask you for a drink, offer her a drink. And I'll tell you why, because it's money kind of well spent, because she will give you a few tips on things in that bar. She'll look after you a bit better. Even if you're not interested in meeting new female friends, as it were, you just want some knowledge about the area where you are, the bars, that sort of thing. If you buy her one drink, she might ask for a second drink, but if you say to her something along the lines of, you just say, I'll be back in tomorrow, I like your bar, I'll get you another one then. She understands, you know, they're not silly, these women. They've been around for a long time, and that's a great way to have a kind of relationship with a mamasan, a friendship where you can say, she'll greet you by name when you come in, you buy her one drink, and that's it. She knows, and they get used to it, so they'll know, okay, every time this guy comes to the bar, he'll buy me one drink, and they'll never hassle you. They'll always look after you. And if, for instance, a bunch of girls try and plonk themselves on your table, you can go, pretend you go to the toilet, talk to the mamasan, look, can you ask these girls to move, and she'll tell them to move, so you won't have that problem. And that kind of works. I've seen friends do that. Right, okay, so number 5, my 5th tip is with regards to the bills. As you know, in the UK, if we buy a drink, we have to walk up to the bar, we buy the drink, we pay for every drink as it comes, as it were. In Thailand, it's not like that. You normally get a plastic or a wooden cup. So when you order your first beer, you sit down, a server will come, a serving girl will come to your table. You might order 2 beers, one for you and one for your friend. She'll bring the 2 beers, she'll put a wooden pot in the middle of the table, and that'll have a bill which says 2 beers at 80 baht each, total 160. So with that, I've never had a problem, but I know guys who have. When they come and they put bills in this pot, because it's easy to forget it's there, you're wrapped up in the moment, you're watching what's going on around you, you're having a good time, your guard maybe goes down a little bit. Just keep your eye on that bill pot, and every bill that goes into that bill pot, make sure that you check it. So if a bill goes in and you weren't sure, just take it out, look at it. If it's for this, what you're drinking, and you think, well, I've had 2 beers, this is the second one, that's fine. But that's just a way of, you know, just keep on top of it, as it were. Right, so the next one's very important. A lot of guys who are on a budget, they like the bars, the happy hours, and I've mentioned this on streams before. There's a bar in Soicowboy called the Tilak bar. It's also a GoGo bar, and I like to go there early because the aircon's good, you don't get hassled, it's very comfortable, there's no smells or anything, and they do a really good happy hour from about I think it's sort of 6 till 9, something like that, where you can get a proper pint of draft Heineken ice cold for 90 baht, which is a really good deal these days. And what will happen, so you might be sitting there drinking your ice cold pint of Heineken at 90 baht, thinking, well, this isn't too bad. And a young lady approaches you, she wants to sit with you, you think, why not? She's a nice girl, I'll have a chat with her. And she asks you for a lady drink, you think, well, it's happy hour, half price, why not? I'll get her a couple. Sorry guys, it doesn't work like that. Happy hour, yes, your drinks are 50%, you'll get 50% discount as it's a happy hour, but the ladies' drinks are never discounted, full price, and they won't go out of their way to tell you that. So if you're, if you're throwing drinks her way, she'll be like that, but she won't tell you. So just keep that in mind, guys. There's no happy hour at all for ladies' drinks. Okay, so we are now approaching number 7. Right, so this is another good tip for you. I do this myself, and I do this in Tilak bar. So most of the bars now are running a happy hour, and let's just say the happy hour finishes at 9, but you think, you know what, I want to stay in this bar till 10 before I move on. I like it here, it's good atmosphere, the beer's good, I want to stay here till 10, but the happy hour stays at 9. A top tip is if you, I'll talk about the serving girls later, how to keep in with them, but you just say to the serving girl, they always come up to you, they won't just let the time run out, they always come up to you and say, oh, happy hour in 5 minutes, you want one more? They'll let you know, so that's a good thing. But what I always do, if I want to stay there another hour, I'll say, look, can I pay for 3? And I'll have them, and they haven't got a problem with that. So I might buy 3 pints of Heineken, and she'll bring me one, and I've got 2 in. When I finish that, she'll just automatically bring the second one and the third one. That'll take me through till 10, a little bit later, but I've still got my happy hour drinks, and that's a good tip to remember. All right, number 8. Now, again, with the bill pot, maybe I should have put this one after the last tip about the bill. So same thing, just to the pot with the bills. If you are alone, and a lot of guys go out alone, I've gone out many times alone. You can still have a good time in Thailand. You can go out and have a very good time in Thailand on your own. But when you go to the toilet, just have a look at your bill pot and just count how many bills in there. If you've had a couple of drinks, you know that. So you look, there's 2, maybe 3. Keep that in your head, go to the toilet, come back, and when you sit down, just check that again. And if there is an extra bill in there, question it, question it. And if they deny it, or they say, no, you've had it, you have to pay it, and you're pretty sure you've had 2 beers, there's now 3, The easiest way, guys, I know it's not, none of us like to do it, but you're in a foreign country, just pay it. Don't go back to that bar. You know they're going to rip you off, right? That's the easiest way. Stay out of any kind of confrontation. It's tempting, especially if you've had a few drinks, to start arguing and then get into fisticuffs. But believe me, guys, just pay that bill and don't go back. Right, okay. Serving girls. Now, what I like about, and I'm sure everybody else does, what I like about Thailand, the service is brilliant. It's really good. You go into the bars. If you go into a restaurant and you've got a beer, that the girl will stand there and every time you take a sip, she'll top it up. Very good service. Now, again, you might not want to do this if you're watching every bar, but this is something I do. When you go into a bar, if you have a service girl looks after you, you get a good one, she looks after you, always give her 100 baht tip. Some guys might look at this video and say 100 baht, that's too much. It's £2.50, it's about $3 and she's looked after you all night. I'll tell you the reason why is because she won't forget that. The next time you go into that bar, you might go in on a Monday night where it's not that busy and it's easy to get a drink, and then you might go in at 10 o'clock on a Saturday night, 11 o'clock on a Saturday night, it's absolutely rammed. She will find you a seat. She will bring you your drink, she will keep an eye on you, and when your glass is nearly empty, she will come over and she'll ask you if you want another drink. Doesn't matter how busy the bar is, that's what they do. Money talks in Thailand, and 100 baht, it's not that much. It's, in my opinion, it's worth it. But then that's only if you're going into a certain bar regular. If you go there once and you're never going to go there again, then you'll give a few baht for just to say thank you. Some guys don't leave anything. I couldn't do that myself. Okay, and as a continuation on the tip, if you visit a bar, now I've just said about the 100 baht, which is a good tip. Something you might not know is when they bring your change back, they'll bring it back on a silver tray, a small silver tray. So you'll give them the 1,000 baht, 500 baht, whatever it is. And they'll bring you back your tray, you'll take your change, you'll count it, everything's okay. And you think, I want to leave her £100, and you put the 100 baht, you put the 100 baht on the tray, she goes off and you think, well, she's very happy. Not really. I'll tell you why, because most of the bars, it's the same system. When the girl comes up with a tray, if you put that 100 baht on the tray, that tip must go in the tip box. And that tip box is shared out at the end of the week between everybody. Dancers, waiters, even the DJ and the cashier, everybody gets a share of that tip box, right? If you want that money to go directly to that girl, what you do is you take the 100 baht and you put it in her hand. And that way, she can keep that 100 baht because you've placed that in her hand. And that's an unwritten rule in most of the bars. So what I generally do, if I've been in a bar for 2 or 3 drinks, I'm happy with the service, she'll come back with my change, I'll put 100 baht in the girl's hand and I'll leave 20 baht in on the tray, and everyone's happy then. And I'll just slip another one in here. This isn't on the list, but I've just thought of it. One of the tricks they do, it's quite clever for you to leave an extra tip. They know, most of the foreigners who go in there, they won't want the coins in their pockets, you know, clumpy coins in your pocket. So what they do is if you've got 60 baht in change, what they'll normally do, or say 160 baht in change, what they'll normally do, you'd think they'll bring you 100 baht note, a 50 baht note and a 10 baht note. But what's very, very common, they do it all the time, they'll bring you a 100 baht note and they'll give you 60 baht in coins. Because a lot of the times people don't, you know, especially people on holiday, they don't know. They'll look at that tray and they'll think a bunch of coins, they don't want them, and they'll walk out and they've just made an extra 50 baht. They're very clever like that, the Thais, you know. It's not a rip-off, it's just using their common sense, and fair play to them for that. But be warned, them coins do add up. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the actual girls themselves, and a lot of this relates to the last story I put out with a guy. A few ideas from there, how I would have handled it. Okay, so you just met a new female friend and she wants to know all about you and she's asking you questions. You'll think these questions are just casual, off the cuff, but they're planned, and they're planned for a reason. The girl will have it in her head, she'll have a script what she's going to say to you, and whatever answer you give her to those questions will determine how much money she can potentially get from you. So one of the first questions to break the ice, obviously, is what's your name? That's innocent, there's nothing wrong with that. The next question she'll ask you is, you're here on holiday. When you say yes, straight away she knows, okay, there's potential to make money with this guy because he's on holiday. He'll have saved up for that holiday. So he's packing cash, as it were. Okay. And then the next thing she'll ask you is, how long are you staying for? Because that will tell her how long she's got. You might potentially really like her and take her out the bar for a week, 2 weeks, and then she's on easy street for a couple of weeks. And then the other thing she's going to ask you, which is very important, the third question, these three questions always come up. She'll ask you, is it your first time visiting Thailand? And what that'll tell her, if you say yes, you've now just told her you're a tourist, you haven't got a clue, and you've got a lot of money in your pocket. She's going to come in big time for the kill. All right. So my advice to you is, if you start talking with a girl, she comes up, she asks you your name, tell her your name. She'll ask you, are you on holiday? You can say, I'm on holiday, but I've been here many, many times before. How long you're here for? I'm not sure. At the moment, I'm booked for a week. I might stay for a month. It's up to me. I'm self-employed. Just make it very casual so you can't be pinned down. But on the other hand, on the other side of the coin, don't exaggerate it, because they'll know when the BS is coming out. So if you say, well, I've lived here for 30 years and I know everything and nobody can, you know, she's going to expect you to speak Thai. And, you know, just don't exaggerate it and say, you know, you've been living there for 10 years, because they'll know you're lying. So just keep it very casual. My name's Peter. Yeah, I'm on holiday for a week. I might make that 2-3 weeks, depending on how I get on. I've been here several times before. I really like it. And what that will tell her, the lady, that will tell her you switched on, and you know, she won't be looking at you so much as a sucker, as it were. Something else you might not realize, this isn't on my list again, but I know a lot of guys who speak Thai, very good Thai. When, like Simon, for instance, his Thai is better than mine. When they go out and they want to have a good time in a bar, for instance, they don't speak any Thai, because what that does, they want to go out and have a good time. And when you go into a bar and you speak fluent Thai, straight away the girl, she's thinking, he knows the ins and outs, he knows what's going on. We can't pull the wool over his eyes. We can't play any tricks on him. He's fully aware. If he speaks Thai, he's probably got a Thai wife as well. So they generally want to stay clear. So the guys I know who speak Thai, they just won't even answer in Thai, you know. And the guys who can't speak any Thai, they try and impress the girls by saying a few words. But, you know, it's just for fun, isn't it? Okay, we're about halfway through here now. Right, okay, so this one's quite important. What happens a lot of the time, especially with older guys, they'll go into a couple of bars, they'll meet the odd girl, they'll meet one girl and they'll decide, I like this girl, she's really nice, I want to stay with her for the entire holiday. You know, they'll take her out for one night, go and eat with her, have some drinks, play pool in another bar, for instance. She's got a nice nature about her. They're very good at what they do, guys. They're good. You know, these girls are, they're good. They got experience, right? And these guys, I've seen this happen a few times as well. Well, quite a few times, actually. They'll think, I like this girl. She's good company. This is what I came on holiday for. I'm going to have her for the whole duration of my vacation, 7 nights, 10 nights. And they'll say to the girl, would you like to come to the islands with me? Or would you like me to take you out of the bar for 10 days? We can spend our time together. Great. And then what happens? They go to the bar fine, I don't know, 800 baht, 1,000 baht. I don't know what it is these days. I haven't been out with friends in those sort of bars for a long time. But let's just say, for example, 1,000 baht. So the guy goes along 10 days. He gives the bar 10,000 baht, which is a lot of money, isn't it? And then after 3 or 4 days, this happens a lot. The guy's kind of thinking, I'm bored with her now. And then what happens is he's lost his money, because if he goes back to that bar, there's no way he'll give the money back. So if you're in that situation where you like a girl and you want to stay with her for a week, just go back to the bar every day and pay the bar the one day. I know it's a pain in the butt, because you've got to keep going back, and it's not really possible if you're going to the islands. So if you want to go to an island for a week and take her, then you've got no choice. But if you're just, say, hanging around Bangkok, just go back every day at 6 o'clock, pay the bar, and then go off and do what you got to do. That's the easiest way. Okay, now I need to this is quite good. These are very common lies that you'll hear, but they're not devious lies. They're lies that are told to cover up the girl. Now, you might be there for a month. You've met a girl after 3 days. You took her out and had some food with her, and you like her, and you think, well, I want to go back and see her. You go back to that bar. You've already made friends with a mamasan on the first night. You bought her a drink. You all had a good giggle together. You had a good time with the girl. So you said to her last time, I'll come back and see you another day. And you actually do decide to go back. You go into the bar, and the girl's nowhere to be seen. So you go to the mamasan. You say, you know, again, Nok, right? Good name. So where's Nok? I've come to see Nok. Where is she? And the mamasan will say to you, oh, she's just popped out to eat. She'll be back in about 40 minutes, 45. Sit down, have a drink. She won't be long. And then she actually takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours, but you've bought 3 or 4 drinks in the meantime. Translated, what that means is she's already been bar fined. She's been out the door. She's gone to somebody's hotel. When she's finished, she'll come back to that bar, and then you'll be able to hook up with her. The next one, which is number 14, similar sort of thing. You go into the same bar, you want to see knock again, and the mamasan tells you, oh, she's not well, or her mother's not well, she's gone back to her village for a week, or she's gone back to her village for 2 weeks. What that means translated is some guys come in and made her a holiday girlfriend and took her to the islands for a week. That's why she's not there. Okay, so it's always the same. I don't like to call it a lie. That's a bit rude, isn't it? But it's always the same excuse. So if they're not there and they're out eating, or they've gone to the islands, or they've gone home for a couple of days, that you know they're with somebody else, and just move on, guys. Right, okay, number 15. So generally this one's quite easy to work out, but my tip to you guys is never rely, if you've never been to that bar before, and you want to take a girl out for company outside of the bar, never rely on that girl for prices. As you've seen in the last story, the girl quoted him 5,000 baht. The way to find out, it's very easy to find out. I mean, if you ask her and it sounds reasonable, she says 1,000 baht or whatever, and that's the norm in the bars you've been to, then you know it's pretty genuine. But if it seems a bit steep, you're not sure, there's two people you can ask who will know. One is a mamasan, who generally they don't lie about the prices, and secondly the cashier. She has to know every price in that bar, and generally if you go and ask that cashier, she'll know. And if you're still not sure and you ask the cashier, then you go and ask the mamasan. If both those prices tally, then you know you're pretty well getting the right information. Okay, and again, like the bar fine, the same thing with a girl. You might hook up with a girl and you might think, well, you know, I like this girl and I want to spend a week with her, I want to spend 2 weeks with her. What you shouldn't do is pay the girl up front. So you say, well, look, I've got this money, I might as well, I don't want to overspend. 10 nights is 15,000 baht, for instance. Say, well, look, what I'll do, there's the 15,000 baht. I don't need to worry about that now. We can have a fantastic time. You run the risk of, after a couple of days, that girl doesn't come back because she'll make some excuse of, oh, I'm really sorry, I've had to go home to my village, my family is sick. She probably won't go back to the bar to work because she's not that stupid. She knows you'll go to that bar, but it gives her an excuse. Why would she carry on another 8 days or another 7 days with you if she's already been paid? And even if she did, her heart's not going to be in it, is it? She's not going to be trying because she's got nothing to gain. She's got nothing to motivate her. So just pay her on a daily basis. Even better still, tell her you'll pay her at the end of the trip. And, you know, when it comes to the end of the 7 days, give her what you owe her. If you want to give her a little tip, that's fine. But don't pay up front. Okay, we're nearly at the end now. Number 18. Okay, so you must have heard these stories on so many different channels, including mine. It's the stories, you know, you might have taken a girl out for a few days and she'll suddenly turn around and say, oh, you know, my mum's sick and I haven't got money to pay her. Could you help me? I'll pay you back. You know, all these stories, and they're really convincing. You know, don't fall into any of them. Just ignore it. Just, you know, if she starts carrying on, that's another reason to pay daily, because if, you know, she becomes too much, and she's, what they do, they play games with you. So if you've taken her out for a week and on the third day she's asking money for her sick mother, and you know what's going on and you don't send it to her, then she suddenly goes into a bit of a huff, or she's not quite as friendly. Just dump her. You know, you don't need to put up with that, do you? You know, you pay for the 3 days, and if you have a problem with it, you go back and tell the bar exactly what happened, and they'll probably chastise her. They'll tell her off. So don't buy any expensive presents or extra money. The other thing is with presents, they'll try, while they're with you, they'll try and get you to purchase expensive items, the favorite being gold, because gold is a commodity, and when you're gone they can simply take that to a gold shop and exchange out a very small fee, and they've got that cash. You buy her a small bracelet, she'll probably get, I don't know what the gold rate is now, but maybe 7,000 baht, something like that. So that's a lot of money, isn't it, for nothing? So they'll try and encourage you to buy presents, gold. The next favorite thing they'll do is they want a camera, a nice camera, not just a burner phone. They want a real, you know, an iPhone or a Samsung, whatever it is now. Again, they'll try to entice you to buy that, and the enticement is, look, you know, I really like you. You know, I've not been with a man. You know, you're the nicest man I've ever met. When you go back to your country, I want to have a good phone so I can message you and make videos and show you what I'm doing in my village. You know, and a lot of guys will think, you know, if they're naive or they don't have the experience, they'll think, well, yeah, that's great. She's going to go to her village and she's going to make videos, and yeah, I'll buy her the phone. You know, and phones aren't cheap. So don't fall for those guys. It's all BS. The only thing I would say on the other side of the coin, as I like to say, there's nothing wrong if you're out with a girl and you like her and she's been, you know, she's behaving herself and she's looking after you, you're having a nice time together. There's nothing wrong with buying her some little gifts. So if you're walking through a shopping mall and she sees a blouse that's 200 baht and she really likes it, you know, if you're on holiday, aren't you? Buy her the blouse, you know, make her happy. Why not? You know, if she sees a pair of shoes for 100 baht and, you know, what trainers, whatever, cheap trainers, 100 baht, 200 baht, yeah, fine. If you want to, that is. It's not a crime to buy a gift for somebody, is it? What I'm saying is the difference between that and a mobile phone or gold is you're just being suckered on the gold, you know, because it's just a sell when you're gone. Okay. Right, I've got two more, and the last one's a little bit funny, but this one's quite important. Right, so if you do take a girl to join you on vacation, on holiday, and you have a problem with that girl, so let's just give you an example scenario. So you take her back to your room to have drinks, for instance. You fall asleep, and when you wake up, some money is missing. You search your room, you search her, it's not there, but she could have slipped out, couldn't she, and hidden that money somewhere in the hotel and come back in before you knew it. Well, if you're pretty sure that she's took that money, don't get into an argument with her, because it will accelerate. It will become a shouting match. If anybody knocks the door, they'll automatically take her side, and you're not going to win anything by doing that. What I would do is just make it, you know, ask her by all means, but if she denies it, then don't throw her out the room, because she'll go out screaming and shouting and things will be thrown around the room. Just make out nothing's happened. Get dressed, say you want to go out and eat, let her come with you. And then once you're outside, just find a way to slip away from her. You might even need to change ask the hotel to go to a different room or warn the reception. But my tip for this one is, if that happens, what you know, if you feel strongly, you know, if it's 500 baht and you're not bothered, then no problem, just don't speak to her again. But if you feel she's done something quite bad, then what you can do is you can go back to that bar and you can speak to the mamasan or the manager just calmly. Don't go in there, you know, all guns blazing, shouting and screaming. You'll get nowhere. You know, you just show yourself up. The Thais won't respect you. If you go in there in a very calm way, sit down with whoever you're going to talk about and say, look, I'm happy with everything, the bar, and I thought the girl was nice, but this is what happened. Can you help me? Now, if the girl's stolen money and there's no proof, they'll sympathize with you and they'll talk to the girl, but they're not going to take the money out of the till and give it to you. But you know, sometimes it can, when you talk directly to the bar like that, a lot of times that, you know, they will help you if they can. And my last tip is, this might seem a strange one. You know, when you go into the bigger go-go bars, you have a guy in the toilet and you stand at the urinal and he'll start massaging your shoulders. And when you've been to the toilet, he'll pick up a silver tray with cloths so you can, you know, you wash your hands. He'll give you the paper and, you know, spray if you want it. And, you know, he'll even comb your hair if you've got any left. And those guys, they don't get paid by the bar. They live generally on tips. So any guy who goes in there and gives them a few baht, you know, if they make 100 baht a night, they can eat. And those guys, as I say, they're not on salaries. So what I generally do, especially in a bar that I'll visit regular, like the Tilak bar, I go there very, very regular. So what I'll do is when I go in there, the guy will approach me. I'll just shake my head like that. They know when you do that, that means you don't want it. You don't have to say a word. They'll come up and massage you. Just shake your head like that, and they know that means you don't want it, right? But even so, if I do that, they'll stop. But I always give the guy 20 baht just once. And the reason I do that is because I'm not a white knight, but, you know, I am a human being. And I know that guy is in there standing in that toilet, handing out tissues for maybe 5-6 hours, hoping that he gets enough tips to eat. So I give the guy 20 baht, which is, I can't calculate it in my head now, but it's nothing, it's pennies. So I give him 20 baht. And my way of thinking is if everybody who went into that toilet gave that guy 20 baht just once, you know, he'd be okay, wouldn't he? So that's really my last tip. As I said at the beginning of the video, you can take them or leave them. It's entirely up to you. But they generally work. Everything I've told you generally works. But how I'd like to end this video is to say this. Although I've given you these tips, on the other side of the coin again, most of the bars, they don't rip you off. There'll be people who will leave comments say, oh yeah, every bar I go in I get ripped off. They don't. I'll tell you why. I've never ever had a problem in a bar like being ripped off by the bar itself. I've had girls try to play tricks with me. I've had waitresses try to, you know, I used to have a nice ring. They'll try and pull your ring off because they think you're drunk. And but most of the bars, especially the big well-established bars in Nana and Cowboy and everywhere actually, they're generally pretty honest bars because they want you to come back. Competition is fierce now, and generally you'll find you'll go in, it's good service, good, the prices are getting a bit expensive now, and of course I am talking pre-pandemic. I don't know what's going to be there after it, you know, when everything gets back to normal eventually, but generally speaking, when you go into these bars, if you don't do anything stupid, if you use common sense, you'll be fine. And they're not, there are one or two bars, especially in Soy Cowboy, that they are, I don't want to name anybody because I want to go back one day, but you'll soon find out. If you go into that bar and you get ripped off, you'll never go back there. But generally, the big bars in Nana, Cowboy, they're generally pretty safe. The one, if I had to name one area where I'd say be extra vigilant, I would say Pat Pong, because it's purely tourists there. That's the main reason why people there know they can rip people off, because they think, well, they're tourists, they're here today, they'll be gone tomorrow. Whereas Nana Plaza and Soy Cowboy, a lot of expats who live in Thailand go to those outlets, and they could be connected to various people, so they don't want to risk it so much. So there you are, guys. I've waffled on for long enough. I think that's done the trick. If you're watching this and you think of something that I've missed out, please leave them in the comments. People do read the comments, and then they'll get even more tips. Okay, so that's it for today, guys. Thanks very much, and I'll catch up with you with a new story real soon.